Welcome to the Playing Books podcast. On this deep dive, we're really cracking open some powerful insights today.
We are. We're looking at excerpts from Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator. Amazing stuff.
Absolutely, and our mission really is to pull out those core ideas, those surprising, sometimes kind of counterintuitive bits.
And the practical techniques, right,
Yeah.
from these specific source materials. We want to see how these high-stakes negotiation methods, well, how you can use them.
In everyday life, yeah. Business, relationships, just getting better at communicating.
Exactly. Because this stuff, it comes from literal life or death situations.
And be ready, because some of this, it really goes against maybe what you've always thought about negotiation.
Oh, definitely. Like, why just being nice? It's not actually enough.
Or why hearing no can sometimes be way better than getting a yes.
And how it's really about emotional intelligence, not just logic. That's the key to, getting what you actually want.
This deep dive is really for anyone, say 18 or older, who wants to sharpen those skills. Negotiation, communication.
Yeah.
It's all connected.
Okay, so let's dive right in. There's this great scene in the source material that really sets the stage perfectly. It shows the clash of ideas.
Right. This is where Chris Voss, the FBI guy, is in this role-playing scenario. And he's up against Harvard law professors, Micken and Blum. Big names.
The experts who literally wrote the book on traditional rational negotiation.
And they hit him with the ultimate scenario. We've got your son, Voss, $1 million, or he dies.
Oof. Even simulated, that hits hard. And Voss, he talks about his background, right? He wasn't some academic prodigy.
No, street cop, then FBI agent. Learned on the job. Very practical.
And that's the core contrast. You've got Harvard, all about rational problem solving, finding common ground, logical steps, getting to yes, win.
Makes sense on paper.
Then you have the FBI's approach, still evolving back then, kind of unproven, but built on psychology, counseling, crisis intervention.
It's almost funny, isn't it? The Ivy League teaching math and economics of deals, while the FBI guys are becoming masters of empathy.
Deep empathy. And this really highlights something huge, backed up by folks like Kahneman and Tversky. Cognitive bias.
Right, the idea that we're not purely rational. Our brains have these unconscious shortcuts, these biases, like over 150 of them.
Yeah, distorting how we see things. So negotiating based only on that logical system 2 thinking, Kahneman said it's like trying to make an omelet without cracking eggs.
You're missing the whole foundation, the emotional system 1 part.
That was the FBI's big realization. They were missing the tools for that emotional dimension.
And think about a hostage negotiator's job. It's insane. They have to win, get the hostages back safely.
Without giving up the farm, no big concessions, and somehow leave the other side feeling, oh, okay, about how it went down.
That's emotional intelligence on steroids. And the tools they built. That's what we're getting into.
Okay, so the absolute foundation, you see it all through the excerpts, is active listening and tactical empathy.
Active listening. Sounds straightforward, but it's more than just keeping quiet.
Way more. It's about consciously taking apart your own assumptions, using specific techniques so the other person feels safe enough, heard enough.
To actually reveal what's really going on underneath.
Exactly. It slows the whole conversation down, but in a really productive way.
It helps you figure out what they say they want versus what they actually need, the bottom line.
Precisely. Wants versus needs. And it requires just laser focus on what they're saying, the words, the feeling behind them.
So what are some of these techniques? Mirroring gets mentioned a lot.
Mirroring. It's fascinating. The source links it to isopraxism, this subconscious thing we do, imitating people we feel connected to, speech, body language.
Like we do it without even thinking, to build rapport.
Yeah, it's biological. We're drawn to similarity, wary of difference. So conscious mirroring is basically intentionally signaling, hey, we're alike, I get you.
And the FBI technique is super simple, isn't it? Just repeating.
The last 3 words, or maybe just the critical 1 to 3 words, that's it.
Voss calls it the closest thing to a Jedi mind trick. Why does that simple repetition work so well?
Because it triggers their mirroring instinct. They feel heard, and their brain just wants to fill in the gaps. Explain more.
Keeps the connection going, gets them talking.
Right. There's even that study with waiters. The ones who mirrored orders got way bigger tips than the ones who just said, okay, or whatever.
Wow. Okay, give me an example. Like the student and the boss.
Yeah, the consulting boss. Pops his head in, says, let's make 2 copies of all the paperwork. Simple enough.
But instead of, okay, the student mirrors back, like inquisitively. I'm sorry, 2 copies.
Exactly. With that, help me understand tone. The boss says, yeah, just store it anywhere.
Still a bit vague, so she mirrors again. Anywhere.
Calmly, picking up on maybe a little uncertainty in his voice, and then pause. Silence.
It works.
It does. The boss actually thinks, realizes physical copies aren't the main thing, and says, actually, you can put them in my office. For now, just make 2 digital backups.
Ah, so the mirror got him to his real need. Digital backups. Cool.
Other tools mention quickly the late-night FM DJ voice, that calm, slow, deep tone.
Yeah, to soothe things, create calm.
And just using silence strategically. People get uncomfortable, they often jump in and say more than they plan.
Okay, so you're listening actively. How do you show you're getting them emotionally? That's tactical empathy.
That's it. And it's not about agreeing with them necessarily. It's about recognizing their perspective, understanding it, and showing them you do. Builds massive trust.
And the key technique here is labeling.
Labeling. Basically naming the emotion or the dynamic you're seeing. Using phrases like, it seems like, or it sounds like, or it looks like.
Followed by the emotion. It seems like you're feeling frustrated.
Exactly. The source calls it an emotional hack, a shortcut to making someone feel understood.
And it's good for diffusing negativity, like the jail example.
Yeah, huge. Saying to a suspect, it looks like you don't want to go back to jail. You're naming the elephant in the room, that underlying fear. Takes its power away sometimes.
What about anger? People get angry in negotiations.
Anger's usually counterproductive, right? Blinds you. Labeling it directly, it sounds like you're angry about this, can actually de-escalate things, makes the person acknowledge it, which calms the brain down a bit.
Like the story about TJ selling tickets. His first script was awful.
Terrible. All me, focused on the team needing money. Totally tone deaf. Got him nowhere.
So he rewrote it with labeling.
And empathy. Made it about the fans, acknowledged their loyalty, but also labeled the likely pressure they were under.
It seems like maybe times are tough right now, and this payment is adding stress. Something like that.
Spot on. Just acknowledging that reality, naming that potential stress and shame, it diffused the whole thing. Suddenly they could talk about payment plans. It worked.
Another quick one, right? Getting volunteers.
Yeah, instead of just asking, Voss labeled the negative. They were probably thinking, look, if you're worried about volunteering, it's going to be horrible.
Huh. And that worked.
Got more volunteers than needed. Naming the fear took the sting out. Better than saying, I don't want this to sound harsh, which just makes it sound harsh.
And this empathy thing, it's actually physical. Neural resonance.
Yeah, brain's literally syncing up when communication is good. That Princeton fMRI study showed it. When communication breaks down, the resonance disappears.
So the takeaway is, you don't have to agree with someone to label their feeling or situation.
Not at all. Just showing you hear them, that you get their world, makes them feel safe enough to maybe reveal things that are actually useful.
Okay, foundation laid. Active listening, tactical empathy. Now for something really weird. The power of no.
Right. We're so conditioned to chase yes. Think about those annoying telemarketer calls.
Do you like saving money? Do you enjoy clean water? Trying to get you saying yes, yes, yes.
Exactly. But the book argues those early yeses, or even a maybe, they're often just fake. Politeness, a way to make you go away.
But no changes things.
No. Always changes the conversation. It sets a boundary. It actually starts the real negotiation in a way.
Voss's own story kind of shows this, doesn't it? Trying to get into the negotiation team.
Yeah, he goes to Amy Bondurant. No experience, no training, wrong degree. Basically says, make me a hostage negotiator.
And her first reaction is basically, no.
Pretty much. An ironic laugh, then no guarantees. Seriously, go away. But then she says, go volunteer at a suicide hotline. That no forced him onto a different path, made him learn.
So why is no so powerful? What's the psychology?
Protection. Saying no gives the speaker a feeling of safety, of control. When someone pushes relentlessly for yes, it makes you feel cornered, uncomfortable.
And Voss credits his colleague, Marty Uffelsizer, for this insight.
Right. They looked at a fundraising script, asking questions designed to get a no, like, is now a bad time to talk? Or, have you given up on supporting this cause? Actually led to more engagement.
Because it feels safer to say, no, now's not a bad time, or no, I haven't given up.
Precisely. Getting those no's helps you understand their world, what they won't do, what their limits are. You have to persuade them in their reality.
So the big insight, forget chasing cheap yeses. Sometimes you need to get the no's out first to clear the way for a real committed yes later.
Exactly. An early yes is often counterfeit, but no is solid ground.
Okay, so no is valuable. But there's something even better than yes, to aim for during the process.
There is, and it's aiming for, that's right.
Not, you're right, which can sound kind of dismissive, like you're just trying to end the conversation.
Yeah, you're right, can feel like, okay, whatever, let's move on. But that's right. That's different. That's the sound of someone feeling truly deeply understood.
It means you've nailed their perspective, summarized their worldview accurately.
Perfectly. It's that breakthrough moment. You get there by using all the tools, mirroring, labeling, summarizing what you've heard, and articulating it back in a way that resonates with them. Creates that feeling of positive regard.
Like with the linebacker example, Brandon.
Yeah, the coach labels his underlying belief. It sounds like you think it's sort of unmanly to dodge a block, and Brandon goes,
That's right.
that's right. And then he's open to hearing a different approach. He felt understood first.
Or the sales rep with the skeptical doctor.
Doctor was totally cold. Rep didn't push the product. Instead, she summarized his obvious passion for his patients. Got the, that's right, walls came down. Trust built. Then she could talk product.
And the student getting the new job from her old boss.
She summarized his predicament and hidden need. So it seems like you need someone in headquarters who can basically be your eyes and ears.
Right.
Help you manage things there.
And he says, that's right, revealing his real motive. He needed an ally.
And she got the job. It shows that's right is way beyond just being polite. It's real connection. Not like, as the book says, sleeping in the same bed but dreaming different dreams.
Okay, great. So you've listened, you've labeled, you navigated the nose, that's right, you have an agreement. Done deal.
Not so fast. This is huge in the source material. Agreement is nothing without implementation.
Right. The hostage negotiator can't just get a yes and leave. They have to make sure the surrender actually happens safely.
They have to be like decision architects, designing the whole process, verbal and nonverbal, to ensure not just consent, but execution.
That St. Martin Parish prison siege example is chilling. They design this careful surrender ritual.
And one SWAT guy messes up one step, takes the radio too soon, and almost blows the whole thing. Shows how fragile implementation can be.
So how do you ensure implementation? Calibrated questions.
Exactly. Calibrated questions, open-ended questions, usually starting with how or what. Critically, the source says avoid why.
Why avoid what? Oh, wait.
See? Why often sounds accusatory. Puts people on the defensive. How and what questions, though? They subtly ask for help.
Makes the other person feel like they're in control, solving the problem.
Gives them the illusion of control, yeah. But it also gets them talking, revealing implementation details, potential roadblocks, and it lets you frame how the problem gets solved.
And how can I do that is a key one, like a polite way to say no.
It's brilliant. Gentle pushback. It forces them to figure out how to make it possible for you. Often they'll offer concessions or find a solution that works for you. They might even start bidding against themselves.
Like in the Ecuador kidnapping.
Yeah.
Jose and Julie.
Yeah, Julie, coached by Voss's team, used tiny offers and calibrated questions. When they demanded the ransom now, she didn't freak out. She just asked, how am I supposed to do that when I need to sell my vehicles?
Throws the problem back onto them. Buys time.
Exactly. Or the engineer who wasn't getting paid, terrified to confront the client.
Voss coached her to summarize the situation and just ask.
How am I supposed to do that? Simple. Powerful. The client immediately backed down, apologized, admitted internal problems, and she got paid. The how disarmed him.
So the lesson is, get the agreement, then immediately ask how or what about making it happen.
Always. How will we know we're on track? What happens if we hit a snag? Nail down the implementation and let them feel like they came up with the plan. Subsume your ego.
And what about the people not at the table? The hidden players.
Level 2 players. Crucial. Deals rarely involve just the people in the room. There are always others who can kill it or make it happen behind the scenes.
And you need to figure out their motivations, even if you don't know who they are.
You have to try. And calibrated questions are key here too. Ask the person you are talking to things like, how does this affect the rest of your team?
Or how will your boss see this? What challenges might your colleagues have with implementing this?
Exactly. Uncover those hidden interests and constraints. Voss mentions a consulting deal that cratered.
Because they only talk to the CEO and HR.
Yeah, they missed the operations guy whose budget was affected. He killed it. Asking how will this impact operations might have surfaced that black swan earlier.
Okay, black swans.
Yeah.
That brings us to really understanding the deeper dynamics. Bending reality, finding those unknowns.
Right. Prospect theory, black swans, knowing their religion. It's about peeling back the layers.
Prospect theory first. The idea that emotions drive decisions, even if we justify them with logic later.
Pretty much. And a key part is loss aversion. We are wired to avoid loss much more strongly than we're driven to seek gain. Losing $50 feels worse than finding $50 feels good.
And that connects to anchoring, setting expectations.
Definitely. An extreme first offer a lowball price, a high demand, can seriously anchor the other person's perception of what's reasonable. If you're unprepared, you react, maybe you give away too much.
So sometimes it's good to let the other side anchor first. See their opening position.
If you're prepared for it, yes. You brace yourself, don't react emotionally to their extreme anchor. Sometimes they might even anchor more favorably than you expected.
Voss's consulting rate negotiation example nails this, right? Anchoring emotions low first.
Totally. He starts by saying the project's failing, budget's slashed, paints a grim picture. Then he offers the $500 rate, but frames it using loss aversion.
I wanted to bring this to you before someone else, making it about not losing the $500 opportunity.
And because he manipulated the emotional anchor and played on loss aversion, everyone took the deal. No counters. He bent their reality.
The car buying story, too.
Yeah.
Extreme low anchor on the truck.
$30,000 on a $36,000 truck, plus non-monetary stuff like cash up front. Then using those apology phrases.
I'm sorry, I just can't. This is so embarrassing. Followed by silence.
Letting the silence do the work. Pleasant persistence. The salesman keeps coming back, dropping the price. Voss keeps gently using the apology phrase. Even on the final offer, $32,500, he pauses after one last quiet, "I'm sorry," before accepting.
That persistence, especially on non-money stuff first, builds rapport while anchoring. Like the French student asking for vacation ended up getting more money instead.
So use anchor strategically, understand loss aversion, be ready for their first punch, and use "how am I supposed to do that" as your defense.
Okay, now black swans, the unknown unknowns.
Nassim Taleb's idea, those hidden pieces of information that just change everything. Like finding actual black swans in Australia when everyone knew swans were white.
What you don't know can wreck your deal. But finding them is hard.
Super hard. Requires a totally different mindset. Deep, intuitive listening. People often don't even know what the crucial unknown is, like Steve Jobs figuring out the need for an iPad.
So how do you hunt for them?
Listen relentlessly. Review notes. Use backup listeners. Get FaceTime. Even 10 minutes beats days of research sometimes. Pay attention to unguarded moments, inconsistencies, things that feel off.
The farmer standoff example, Watson.
Classic. Bombs near monuments. But the team looked past the bombs to his religion, his core identity as a farmer protesting policy needing to be heard.
Finding that was the black swan.
Yes, focusing on his need to be heard, getting him to admit he wanted to live so his message could be heard, that led to the surrender. Understanding his worldview was key.
And the Pittsburgh kidnapping proof of life.
Instead of the planned question, the victim just blurts out, "Hey dog, how do I know she's all right?"
A natural how question, asking for help.
Exactly. Gave the kidnapper the illusion of control. He volunteered to put her on the phone. The black swan was recognizing the power of that spontaneous, help-seeking question.
But missing black swans. The Griffin Bank standoff is the tragic side.
Horrible. He killed on deadline that shattered a known assumption. Other missed clues. The nearby homicide, the rambling note with that one line about dying alone. Failure to find those had terrible consequences.
Which leads to, it's not crazy, it's a clue. When someone seems irrational.
Dig deeper. Don't dismiss it. That's where black swans often hide. They might be ill-informed. Garbage in, garbage out.
Like a guy suing for commission he wasn't owed per his contract.
Or they have hidden constraints, limitations, pressures, hidden desires you don't see.
The Coca-Cola contact ignoring emails. Not crazy, just constrained by internal chaos and lost influence.
Exactly. And this all ties back to knowing their religion, understanding their fundamental worldview, what makes them tick outside this specific deal. That's often the biggest black swan.
And it gives you normative leverage, using their own values.
Right. Plus, the similarity principle. We trust people like us. Finding common ground, even small things, builds rapport. Understanding their religion helps you find that common ground.
Like the student buying the apartment building.
Yeah, the broker mentions student tenants, construction costs. The student uses labels. Sounds like you really know this market.
Yeah.
And calibrated questions. How would I verify that cap rate?
To dig into those details. Uncovered black swans about the real student market, building limits, actual costs.
Gave him a valuation based on the broker's own stated norms. Powerful stuff.
Okay, as we listen to this, it's worth pausing, maybe thinking back. Any recent talks where mirroring could have helped? Did I dismiss something odd that was actually a clue?
Good reflection. Finally, the book briefly touches on dealing with different types and hammers home implementation again.
Right. The quick breakdown. Aggressives, analysts, accommodators.
Aggressives. Want to win? Use intimidation. Don't meet force with force. Use calibrated what and how questions to redirect. Keep your tone calm.
Analysts need logic, data, can seem cold. Give them space, time, smile. They might share more data. Expect delays.
Accommodators. Value the relationship, want to please. Can be hard to surface objections because they hate conflict. Need labels, summaries, that's right, and calibrated questions to draw them out gently. Watch out for uneven reciprocity.
And for getting commitment, regardless of type, the steps are
1. Initial agreement. 2. Label or summarize to get that's right. 3. Immediately ask a calibrated how or what about implementation. Nail it down.
because agreement without implementation.
Is failure. You got to architect the execution.
Okay, let's wrap this deep dive up. We've gone from just rational negotiation to embracing emotional intelligence, haven't we?
We really have. Active listening with mirroring and silences, tactical empathy through labeling.
Understanding the surprising power of no, striving for that crucial.
That might...
Using calibrated how and what questions to drive implementation, leveraging prospect theory, anchoring, loss aversion.
Hunting for those game-changing black swans and really getting to know their religion, their worldview. It's a lot. It is. But these aren't just theories for hostage standoffs. Seriously, these are tools for you. For your career, your relationships, your everyday conversations. They help you understand people, navigate conflict, get better results. The challenge is, try them.
Really integrate them. See how they change things in your life.
And look, these excerpts just scratch the surface.
Yeah.
To really get it, to master this.
You got to get the book. Never Split the Difference. Highly recommend purchasing it. So many more stories, details.
Absolutely. And engage with the author. Chris Voss is active on social media. Share your experiences, ask him questions, learn from the source.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on the Plain Boats podcast for this deep dive. We hope this gives you some powerful new tools.
Definitely. And until next time, please follow, subscribe, share the deep dive, help others become better informed, better negotiators, better communicators.
And remember that quote from the source. Every negotiation, every conversation is a series of small conflicts that, managed well, can rise to creative beauty. So how are you going to manage your next small conflict?